Do you live in the UK and you think it makes sense to start selling on Amazon.co.uk? Today's video, I'm going to break down why I think that's a mistake, and I'm going to show you some products that I think back that up. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to break down the top 4 Amazon markets and their sales revenue in 2020. Now, this is in billions of dollars, and it shows you how big these countries actually are. So first up, we've got Japan. This might be a bit of a shock for you. Obviously, this one is quite difficult with the language barrier, but it comes in at $20.46 billion in 2020. Up next is good old Blighty, the UK, 26.48. I'm not sure if this was a surprise for you. It was a little bit of a surprise for me, to be honest. I expected it to be way more than Japan, but it's actually not that much more. Next up, we've got Germany coming in at $29.7 billion in revenue. Not that much more than the UK. I actually thought it was quite a bit bigger than the UK, but surprisingly it's not. And then we got the big daddy, the US of A, coming in at a whopping $263.52 billion in sales revenue in the year 2020. Now this kind of blew my mind a little bit. I did not expect it to be this big. I knew it was by far the biggest Amazon market, but I didn't think it was nearly 10 times bigger than the UK market. So this is the main point of the video today, guys, is I think if you're picking one of these markets that's smaller just because you live there, you're making a big mistake. The reason for that is that there's just way more products, way more niches, and just way more demand in the US. It makes it easier to find products. It makes it easier to find niches where you can come in and you can expand. And ironically, contrary to what a lot of YouTubers will tell you, the competition, in my experience, is actually lower. I want to talk about a couple of misconceptions about the US market that I hear and I read in Facebook groups, primarily UK Facebook groups. Number one, that it's really difficult to set up an account. It's just not true. It's as simple as the UK. You need a few details, bank account, all that sort of stuff, provide your identification, and you're up and running very quickly. It's not difficult at all. We're actually going to bring in a video that walks you through the process, so like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified for when that comes out. The second misconception that I want to talk about, which I touched on briefly before, is that it's more competitive. I hear this all the time in the Amazon groups, that the US market is very competitive. It's just not true. Of course, there are huge niches in the US where they're super competitive. We're talking people doing 7 figures every single month. But what you do get is you get a lot of tiny, tiny niches that exist in the US where the competition is pretty low, where those niches don't even exist in the UK. There's no demand for them whatsoever. So if you were to look at those niches in the UK, you would just completely pass them by because there's no demand. Then you go to the US and you actually see there's people buying these products in the US, and they're low competition, they're easier to enter, and there's a lot of them because of the size of the actual market. So now I want to show you a product that illustrates my point, and that product is watch cases. So if you take a look in the US and you scroll through, it's basically just a box that you put watches in if you're a watch collector, or if you just have 5 or 6 that you rotate every single day. I personally don't, but each to their own. So what I want to do is take a look here at Helium 10 to basically show you the demand in the US for this product. So, you know, you got the top listing here doing $70,000, then 60, 15. The search volume comes in at just under 40,000. So there's a very healthy demand for this product in the US. Now, if you were looking in the UK and we do the same thing, what you can see here is that it's a bit of a different story. And that is often the case between the US and the UK. But if you came on here and you looked at this, unless you had a really small budget, unless you had something, you weren't really looking to do 300 plus sales a month, you would probably overlook this niche. You wouldn't really spend too much time. The only person really making not even any money is making £4,000 in revenue is this guy here. There's just really not that much demand. Now, my point with this isn't that you should go out and sell watch cases, but my point is there's niches in the UK that if you're only looking at .co.uk, you're gonna go through them. You're gonna say that's not good enough, there's not enough demand, and you're gonna really struggle to try and find products. If you move your search over to the US market, you're gonna find a lot more products, a lot more niches, and you're gonna actually find that the competition can be quite often a lot lower. So that's the main point of the video today, guys, is don't handicap yourself by only looking to sell in the UK if that's where you live. The same applies if you live in Germany or if you live in France or Italy. Take a look at the US market. There's way more products. There's way more niches. If you like the video, give it a like and give it a subscribe. We've actually got a video that we just released on our August numbers. If you're interested in how much revenue we did and how much profit we made, we break it all down there. So here's a link, maybe on this side, I'm not sure. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.